Hey everybody, this is Larry, and thanks for tuning in. First and foremost, I appreciate you guys jumping in to watch the official first episode of our little series. I apologize for kind of the video quality and sound. I'm actually outside, and this is probably like the fourth time I've tried recording, and I've realized that it's a little tougher, like just talking to a camera than I thought it would be, and finding something that's half decent as far as being able to hear and relay. So if you do hear background noise, I apologize. I got the kids inside doing homework and such. But again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I still haven't fully come up with a name, though I've had a couple of good ideas from some viewers. Rebecca thought Keeter's Cosmos, and Ryan was thinking Keeter's Corner, and both I like the idea, I almost thought at one point like Keeter's Chair Chat, something simple, but I haven't locked down anything just yet. But love the feedback, keep it coming. I think last on our little prologue episode, I brought up the idea of doing sort of a bio type deal, and I realized that it is almost impossible for me to do a full bio without either diving way too deep into the rabbit hole that I bore, or I'm too vague to where I miss everything that I wanted to talk about. So the main ideas that I'm going to go over in this episode are about change and acceptance, so to speak, anyway, or new norms. And that's what I'm going to kind of focus on, using certain points within my life. A little bit about me. I was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I was born as a preemie, born under 2 pounds. I was put up for adoption and adopted at right around 4 years old, which came with some emotional complications, as one would imagine. And when it comes to self-confidence and trying to fit in and stuff like that later down in, I went to Fort Mill High School, where I wrestled varsity all 4 years, and had planned to wrestle in college because it's something I fell in love with, and it was my passion. And but I ended up getting put in a chair at 17 years old, my senior in high school. It was a climbing accident. Climbed up, no problem. Some things happened, and I free fell about 20-25 feet, and I broke my T12 vertebrae. Also, disclosure, please, if anybody watching this knows particular parties involved, let's keep names and titles and all of that stuff out, in respect to myself and all parties involved. But anyway, I fell, and it left me with a bruised spinal cord. So I'm technically an incomplete paraplegic, which means that you can, and I luckily did, gain some movement and some sensation back. And then, let's see, from there, I jumped into college over at Edinburgh University, and had a lot of fun, but kind of fell down through a series of mental and emotional turmoil, so to speak. Ended up coming back home and lost my way for a good few years. Honestly, started drinking and doing some things that I shouldn't, a little more than the typical style of stuff. Let's see, kind of went from that point. A couple of buddies of mine ended up talking me into doing some tennis, and annoyed the heck out of me to go to a tennis tournament, which I finally did, and it kind of reminded me how much I liked competition and socialization, and it was kind of that led me towards kind of a renewed life. From there, I did that for a couple of years, and then decided to jump into some let's see, it was some volunteer work, and I saw a cute lady there, and I was like, hey, how you doing? We chatted, struck up conversation, ended up meeting to hit some tennis, even though we spent most of the time chatting. And she is my now wife. She had 2 kids, and we dated for a while, and decided she's the one I want to spend the rest of my life with. Got married, so and then had a wife and 2 kids, and it wasn't long after that we found out that we were pregnant with another, and now we have our little family of 5. And it wasn't until, like, for me, realizing steps forward on who I wanted to be and what I need to do, and as a father, to kind of kick my butt into gear when it comes to certain things, and ultimately that's kind of what's led up to here, and now, and life is good, and I'm fortunate, and I'm blessed. And it's funny, you asked me, let's see, I just had my 14th anniversary of injury, and the last, I guess, 3 or so, I've just kind of forgotten. It's amazing to me that I've gotten my mindset to a point to where it doesn't bother me, which brings me back to the points I wanted to talk about. It's change and acceptance of a different life, acceptance to a certain degree. I'm not indifferent to change, and being a preemie, I was always different. Just because it took me, I was always tiny, so I was always picked on. Adoption left a lot of holes in my mental capacity as far as self-confidence. And just questioning, especially the need from others. And then getting put in the wheelchair was, incredibly traumatic. From having an idea of what I was going to do, which was going to be a PE teacher and wrestling coach, to not knowing where I'm going, not knowing even how to relearn each day. And I will do other episodes on the emotions that are involved with becoming disabled, because I think those deserve its own episode. But also, too, sort of some of the things to expect when you first get put in a chair, and maybe certain venues or avenues to follow to help the recovery process, or to connect with others that can help you understand and that can relate. That was one thing that helped me a lot, was, again, a support group of people that have been through it helped me tremendously. But going from walking around to all of a sudden, it's not just not walking, it's you now have a bowel program, you have to cath, all of which I'm fortunate enough to have gained back in some regards, not fully. But for a long time, what led me to especially my drinking habits afterwards was depression, and that one specifically will have its own episode. But to touch on it lightly, I spent probably the better of 5 years drinking more than I should, solely in the fact of resistance to change. You're never going to walk again. Well, no way. Whatever you say, I'm going to walk again. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be able to do everything the way that I thought. But it's change. I resisted any kind of acceptance. I'm not by any means saying accept your situation for what it is, but to some degree, you have to accept that it is going to be a little different. I would never tell anybody to don't try for walking, don't try this, don't try that. I say move forward, try, and do the best that you can, period. Whatever that means to you. But you also have to know that you could, the reality is that keep fighting for what you want, but the expectations of getting 100% back might be a tough pill. Not to discredit by any means, because I go for it. I did, you know. But the fact is that you can live a full, fulfilling life, regardless of situation. You just have to change the mindset in which you look at it. And I hope that kind of makes sense. Definitely no negative Nancy, because I have so much admiration for everybody that strives every day towards bettering themselves in one way or the other, whether that's physically or mentally, emotionally, any of those statutes. Like, fantastic. Like, high five. High five. But for me, and this is just me, I wasn't able to start moving forward, and especially in regards to my disability, until I finally accepted the fact that I personally am not going to be able to do everything in the same way. I can do it. I do grocery shopping, and now I take groceries one bag at a time. I've even got a couple of those Food Lion fabric bags, because I can stick like 5 groceries in there, and it saves me like 5 trips all in all. So it's pretty great. So, but anyway, it's finally getting my mind to accept that things are different, and learning that there's other things that I want to focus on than what I can't and what I don't have or do. Excuse me. Part of that was through tennis and the people that I met, and seeing some of the amazing things that some of these folks have done through their adaptive life. So they learn to change their mindset on what they can and can't do, and accepted the fact that they can still live a happy, fulfilling life, and that inspired me to kind of do the same. And the point of this is to try to pay that forward too. Obviously, it's easier said than done, and everybody's circumstance is different, and that's why I want to hear from you guys what exactly it is that you might be struggling with, or you find difficult to let go. The hardest part is knowing that, every day is work. From going to the bathroom to getting up to all of that. But if you can get yourself to accept that the new norm is to some degree different, and that I think you leave more of yourself available and open to seeing new things and trying new things, and so forth. And I hope that makes sense. A couple of points, and pardon me, I wrote little bullets because I'm not that organized. ADD doesn't allow it. But yeah, a couple other a couple other things is this is for you guys. I think what I would like to do for the next following episodes is to maybe come up with a subject that where you guys can ask me questions that I can answer for you specifically, because again, I'm here for you guys. It's hard for me to come up with a concept and then just give all of my thoughts. I feel that's a little boring. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, so please do reply. Tell me how you've changed your mindset from when you first got injured to where you are now. Let me know if some of the things that has changed over time, whether that's you gain some things back, or how you've kind of managed through some of it. I'd love to hear your stories and share some of those as well. As far as the main focus is to change and accept to some degree a new mindset on how we deal with change. And one of One of the viewers had mentioned, how does, let me see here, excuse me, Joseph wanted to know how kind of the fear of the unknown in relation to becoming disabled and how that relates to what we're dealing with now with, COVID and stuff. And to be honest with you, life is change is inevitable. It happens to everyone and all people. I mean, regardless of whether it's disability or anything in life, we all know that things happen and a wrench gets thrown in and jankies up situations. And so knowing that there's an inevitability, okay, yes, there's a fear of the unknown. I think we as a people are scared of what we don't understand. And that's true when it comes to disability and anything else. Part of my resistance initially was because I was afraid. I didn't want change because I didn't understand it. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't want to relearn. It was all this extra work. It was all this just emotionally and physically draining. And it just scared me. I didn't want to relearn. And just like right now, I think one benefit to the chair life is that I've learned that I have to adapt and adjust to every day, all the time. And with COVID, we don't know what's happening. And that's what's the main fear, is the fact that we all sort of take change differently. We all have our different thoughts and opinions and ideologies, but we have to be able to respect each other's differences as well. At first I was like, holy cow, I can't get my schoolwork done, I can't get this done, I can't go to the gym, I got all 3 kids at home and I'm balding because of it, but I love them. But finally I backed off and said, look, here's an opportunity to some degree to where let's look at what I'm able to do. I have time with my kids. I always used to complain I didn't have time with my kids. I would do this if I had time. I would do that if I had time. And, well, now I have time. And so, it's gotten me to be more creative in how I do things, just like I had to be with disability. Now, I'll set up the pool in the morning on the warmer days, and then I'll get all the kids. We'll go play in the sprinklers and the little pool together. We do some arts and crafts, some painting. I'll give them a subject to draw or paint, and they go for it. My boy Nico even made a board game, and my big girl Bella has painted on bricks to give to Grandma and Grandpa. JoJo's walking and talking, and we get outside and we ride, and we're teaching a little ride her little bike. So I get that time, and that I'm hugely grateful for. And so, just like with disability, you have to know that it is different, it's change, it's unknown, but to a certain degree there's an acceptance. With COVID, you have to accept that right now the rules are in place, and we have to kind of try our best to abide by those and adapt our life to make it work for us. In a chair scenario, we have to somewhat accept the fact that our life is limited in certain regards. We have to adapt on how we get things done, whether that's grocery shopping and how you get the stuff in, whether that's picking up big boxes that are shipped in from Amazon that are big and awkward. I'll hop out of my chair and find a way to get it up. So those are very closely related in the fact that big change requires flexible mindset to be able to adapt, understand, and adjust. And it's not easy, but that's why when you are lost or confused, you reach out to each other. You discuss, hey, you know what? This person has some great ideas. That person has some great ideas. I'm going to mesh them and make it happen, Captain. So yeah, just understand that we're all kind of adjusting and changing. So be understanding, be respectful, do your best to get through. Don't be scared, because life, it's Hakuna Matata, the circle of life. It's going to keep moving. The sun keeps rolling, and we just take it day by day together. So anyway, that's the main points I wanted to try to get across today, and I hope that I relayed them well. Again, I'm very new at this. I'll have better equipment. I will get better versed in how I communicate, so I don't sound, hopefully, so boring. And either work on the story or my storytelling, or hopefully get you guys more involved to where maybe we could do like Zoom meetings, face-to-faces. You ask me questions directly where I answer them off of my thoughts while getting feedback from you guys as well. I want this to be very connected between you and me. I want you to get to know me a little bit. I want to get to know you. Also, I don't have this set up as monetized because that's not the purpose of these. Though I wouldn't mind pondering the idea as to whether or not I could set it up to where if those funds go towards those in need, to try to help folks, or maybe even organizations for those disabled struggling. I don't know if anybody has any feedback on that. I'd love to hear from that. A couple of potential topics I wanted to go for future references. One was by Ashley. She had mentioned the dating perspective from both chair and able body alike, which I think is a great idea. Now I might have to try to coerce my wife into discussing, but I think that would definitely be a great topic, especially because there's a lot of emotions like self-doubt, self-confidence. For me personally, it was embarrassment of being in a chair because I did. But that's, again, another episode. But I think dating would be a great one. Also, Rob had mentioned, I think specifically he was talking about some kind of ladder or lift system to help chair folk, which I think is great. I definitely will be doing some product-based episodes because I think that we could all learn from each other, and who knows, maybe throwing out the ideas could get a potential entrepreneur out there working on some things to like boost some stuff and make things happen, make it a more adaptive, enabling world versus disabled positions. Yeah, I think that's all that I have today. Again, be gentle. It's my first time kind of doing this, but I would love, your words of thought as far as critiques, what I can improve, what you liked, what you disliked, and so forth. As far as episodes go, I will probably do a post or put it in the description below as far as what I decide for the next weeks. But I do very much look forward to hearing from you and what I can do to better the experience. And if it's too long, I'll shorten it. If it's too short, I'll lengthen it. If you want me to talk in a high voice, I could do that, but I don't really think that that'll do me much. But yeah, I'll let you guys go. Remember, I'm here for you. It's about communication, learning, and helping each other move forward. And I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time, all right? See ya.